And now we have Sister Masuma join us. Assalamu alaikum, welcome.
Assalamu rahmatullah, thank you.
So today's discussion is going to be about Arbaeen and the walk that obviously recent years we've been blessed to be able to actually participate. So we have a question about that. Dear Masuma, the Arbaeen walk is regarded as one of the most awarded act in one's life, and for many people it can be a spiritual change. The Arbaeen walk is a walk that tries to help one experience a walk that Sayyidah Zainab and the other women of Ahl Bayt had to experience arriving in Karbala on the 40th day after Imam Hussein's death. What recommendations would you give those attending the Arbaeen walk, and how can a person get the most out of it spiritually?
Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I think firstly, I would actually question whether the Arbaeen walk is trying to experience what Sayyidah Zainab alayhi salam went through, because it's a totally different experience. First of all, Sayyidah Zainab alayhi salam went from Sham to Karbala to Medina, whereas the Arbaeen walk is from different parts of Iraq to Karbala,
right.
Generally from Najaf to Karbala for those who are coming from abroad. But then all the other villages that live in different parts of Iraq tend to sort of walk towards Karbala as well. So I don't think it is about experiencing what she experienced, because hers was very much sort of a lonely walk. You know, it was just the very immediate family members who went, and once they'd been released back, to Karbala to sort of say their final goodbyes and so forth. But for those who have been on the Arbaeen walk, it is very much done with lots and lots of people. It's you feel the concept of the ummah, you feel that love of Imam Hussein, you feel that concept of unity, and it's much more sort of
it's bigger uplifting, isn't it?
Yes.
It's not a very somber event. It's everyone's. It's in the celebration of that love of Imam Hussein, and obviously it's commemorating a sad occasion, but it is quite.
And then there's free food being given, and free accommodation, and lots of different. So I don't think you can say that the walk helps you experience what Sayyidah Zainab alayhi salam went through. I think that's probably the first thing I'd say.
Yeah.
And then it says, what recommendations would you give those attending the Arbaeen walk, and how can a person get the most out of it spiritually? Again, because it's such a huge thing and there's so much happening, it's very easy to get drawn into all of that.
Distraction.
Yes. So I think it's important to try to sort of think about what is it that I'm trying to achieve by doing this walk. Because if you think about it, I'm giving up time of being in the haram next to Imam in order to do this walk. So what is it that I'm trying to achieve in doing this walk? And I think that's something that I need to sort of self-reflect on before I do the walk. There are lots and lots of hadiths that talk about the fact that once you decide to go towards Imam Hussein, every step that you take, you're rewarded. You get a good deed, and your evil deeds are taken away. And there's lots of hadiths that talk about walking to Imam Hussein alayhi salam. But personally, what am I going to get out of it? And I think that's something that I need to reflect on before I do the walk. The other thing that may actually...
so can I just... so based on what you've just said there, so say this person, in like we've said previously, in all our, hope and efforts, we could never, replicate that sad occasion of what the Ahl Bayt actually went through themselves. But if this person went with an intention that I am going in those footsteps of Sayyidah Zainab, and while I will realistically never match her pain and the difficulty and loneliness that they would have felt, that this is almost a celebration of what the effort she put in to do that walk, and now the ummah is united under their sort of, they were the cause and we're the effect in terms of that their love was, it's shown in such an amazing way. So if this person makes an intention that actually this is the best I can do for Sayyidah Zainab, and they're not great at walking. I mean, I know women, bless them, that they've walked and had cancer in their foot and they've never been able to walk back home, but they've done this out of that love that, that's what drives me. And that actually is the only thing that can drive you doing that walk. It's not easy. Some people have actually come out of it. I've heard them. I don't see any benefit in that. So it affects people differently, doesn't it?
Yes.
And while it's not easy for some people, the intention has to be something that, like you're saying, what you're going to get out of it. But even if they thought it was for Sayyidah Zainab. Surely
that's fine, but that's what I'm saying. I think you personally, I have to decide, why am I doing this?
Sure.
What am I going to get out of it? Not get pulled into everything else that's happening around me, because again, there's so many different people, so many different cultures, and just, you know, it's very easy to get into people watching. Yeah. So again, you know, then you get pulled away from the actual spirituality of it all. Again, like you said, it is a difficult walk. If you're going to do the, you know, like if you're going to walk all the way from Najaf to Karbala, that's what, 85 kilometers. And that's,
I like to say it's 90 because it just makes you feel a bit better.
Okay, 90. And again, you know, so if it's, you know, we're not used to doing that sort of walking. So, you know, the pain that you feel. And I think if you're not connected spiritually, if you're not thinking about, you know, if your niyat's not correct, then it will be about the pain and suffering and actually looking at everything else that's going around. And you may at the end of it think, what did I get? You know, what was it? And you might feel good because you managed it, but it's not, again, it's not a tick box exercise. It's not something that, oh, you know, I need to do the walk once in my lifetime. It's not that. It's about, where am I going to get the most growth? What am I going to get from this? It's
such a beautiful point you've made, because at every point where you look at sort of our when we undertake these tasks of you know, trying to get close to Allah, so Hajj is one, you know, these pilgrimages we take, they're all refinement, aren't they, for our etiquettes, our behaviour. So if we go on the walk and you know, and I remember, you know, girls turning around face full of makeup and then going on the walk. Now, obviously Allah knows their intention, that's not the point. The thing is that if we don't make that effort to actually think about what we're doing, or we're going to backchat when we're there, or we're going to behave in a bad way, then what are we actually gaining from it? And we'll come out thinking, this was, okay, it was great, we did the walk, I've done it, but
yeah, it's again, it's just a tick box. I've done it. It's something I can actually say, oh, I've done, but that's not what it was about. And again, because, you know, everything is free, you get pulled into that. So it's like, you know, I want to try this, I want to try that. And then it becomes about, oh, what can I get? And, you know, and you lose the whole essence of the walk. Is it so
bad to sort of, I mean, I'm guilty of that because I saw the, you know, the falafel in Iraq is something else. So, you know, is it so bad to be sort of like, you know, you have that kind of downtime and then you've got the moment where you literally feel like you're walking on heaven and you're getting to that point of, you know, anticipation of, you know, arriving in Karbala. I think it's so hard to always consistently be at that point.
Yeah, no, of course it is. And I think, again, it's nice to have someone there who sort of, you know, when you're sort of losing it, helps you, you know, and brings you up again, sort of thing. Excuse me. I think it's just that constant reminder to yourself.
Sure.
Because yes, you will get pulled out of it, but it's sort of reminding yourself again, this is, and if you think about it, we're saying to constantly be in that frame of mind. It's a 3-day walk.
Yeah.
It's not.
Some people do it in a day, don't they?
And it's not that long. And it's like, if I feel like I can't maintain it for 3 days, then maybe just do a 1-day walk and not do the whole walk, do some of it, just to experience it. I think for me, the experience of being the majority, you know, growing up in Britain, you know, where you're not the majority as a Shia Muslim, to actually be around everyone who, sorry, loves Imam Hussein, you know, to feel that love, and you're all sort of, it just feels like you're all heading in the same way and you've all got the same goal, and you can actually just imagine when our Imam comes, this is what it's going to be like, you know, it's just, oh, amazing. Excuse me.
So I clearly need to be walking with you, so I'm not distracted by falafels. But no, it's an amazing experience, and definitely, like you said, even if, you know, some people, I remember we were debating whether we should go in one particular year, do the walk. Had somebody with me that wasn't well, and there was another lady, she was umming and ahhing, she had knee surgery. So she was saying, oh, I can't do it. And then when she saw that we literally changed our minds and no, we're going to do, even if it's a day, we'll do that walk. And she said, right, I'm coming with you. And it was so amazing to see. She's such a beautiful lady, and that she had that courage, and, you know, that, okay, if I walk with you, will you walk slowly? Because we didn't go with the main, the group that we were going with. So just to see that passion, you think, subhanAllah, how people's love drives them, you know.
It's amazing. And it's beautiful how, you know, again, for me, I think it was the way that people wanted to serve you because you're the Zawar of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. You just felt like, I need to live up to this status. You know, it's like they actually made you feel,
isn't it?
Yeah, and they made you feel you were so amazing. And you know, if you didn't feel spiritually high, you thought, why don't I? I should do, because I'm the Zawar of Imam Hussein. And it just made you think about, what does it mean to be the Zawar of Imam Hussein?
There's a responsibility there as well, isn't there?
So, again, that was a huge lesson for me, to actually think about, what does it mean to me to be the Zawar of Imam Hussein? And, how they're seeing me, is that who I am, or am I an imposter? And then, I need to lift up my game a little bit.
It's so true, because you think, that it's a responsibility, it's an honour, and, not everyone has the opportunity to do that. So we all should be grateful that Allah gives it, and gives us that opportunity again and again. But it's, again, the people that are serving the Zawar for the intention of Imam Hussein, you think, what is their maqam? That they are giving everything. Some people save the whole year around to actually just have a mawqif, to serve people, and for them that's service. And I guess, in our life it's always about serving others, isn't it? The hospitality, and you're reminded of what the cultures in the East are, that it's about others, not to focus on the self, whereas in the West we're always like yourself, and we're kind of losing that in ourselves, that there's a focus on the I, whereas there it's like give what you have. And it's a beautiful reminder. And a lot of the times they are giving what they have. Yes.
It's not that they've got excess and they're giving that, which is what we tend to do in the West. It's like, if I give to the poor, I'll give what I don't need and what I've used, rather than sort of giving. They're actually giving what they have and what they need, but they're sharing it with us, and it's amazing to see.
And their faith that Imam Hussein will return to them, give to them back what they're giving, much more than what they're actually giving in material terms. That's all. We've come to the end of the book. Have you got any last comments, sort of suggestions?
I think when I think back to when I did the walk, the greatest moment for me was when we were walking into Karbala, and as you're walking in, they had this announcement. Each group was announced, and they announced that the land of Karbala welcomes the people, the Zawar of who've come from England. And to me, I think, if the land of Karbala accepts me, why would my Imam? And it was just, when I heard that, I just, that was it. It was just like, I've made it. I've come, and the land of Karbala is accepting me. So why won't my Imam? And it was just such an amazing end to an amazing journey. Yeah, definitely. Alhamdulillah.
And I hope that, inshallah, the viewers, benefit from your words, because they're absolutely right that, not to get distracted, to focus on why you're doing it, and to get the most out of that walk, and not to really waste it on the 3 days, because it's so easy. Shaitan is not going to want us to be benefiting that spiritually. So lots of good advice there. Thank you so much. And inshallah, we'll see you again soon.
Inshallah.
And next up are the mini Hussainis.